Hi, I'm Shristi, and in this video, we're going to start to look at moving across some of the files from the 30-day Mean Stack app challenge across into the new 0.4 Mean.js structure. So I've got the challenge app open here on my left, and I've got the new structure, the new app created and ready to go on my right here. So if you've followed along with the last couple of videos that I've put up, I've gone through the process of actually setting up the 0.4 app structure and going ahead and actually creating a customers module. So those are the types of things that we're going to need to start to move our app across. And it's a fairly straightforward process. Hopefully this video will help you understand what you need to have done and get things going with the new structure. So let's get into it. I'm going to go through this video in kind of four kind of stages. So the first thing I'm going to look at is or are the config files, and we've sort of looked at those already as part of setting up the structure. Once we've done that, we'll move across to the core modules, look at the client and server files. We'll look at users module, the client and server files, and then finally we'll look at the customers module and move across the client and server files there. So that'll be the process that we'll go through. So let's jump in. So step one, got our config files. Previously we had one set of files for environment. That's where we set up our CSS and JS references. So I didn't really have to make too many changes here in the all.js file, but in development what we did was plug in our database, our Mongo database we put in there, and then over here when I go to config and environments and just jump across to development, we've got the same Mongo database reference over there. So that just sort of moves across. So previously it was in config environment development, and over here we're now in config environment development. So too much hasn't changed, but we do know that in config we've now split up the files into assets and environment as well. Move on to the next one, looking at production. So in the production environment, what I might do is actually just split this slightly differently so you can see both screens at once. I'm just going to move it like that. Let's see if that helps. Okay, cool. That's probably a little bit easier to see. So at the top here, I've got the previous version of Mean.js, and down the bottom, I've got the brand new one. So, so in production, we've got a similar kind of structure where we can plug in the Mongo reference at the end here. But what I'm going to do instead, something that I do sometimes, is just grab a reference to Mongo HQ URL. Can be Mongo HQ or Compose or anything you wanted to call it, as long as this reference here is the same as a reference here. Just put in equals, and then you can just put in reference to, you need the whole thing, just make sure you got the quotes as well. And we can plug that in there. Just put a little semicolon on the end, and then this DB will just pick that reference up when it goes to run. Now, if you've got a test environment set up, you can obviously do the same thing with that as well. So that reference would then go down into test here. So I'll just grab that and plug that in over there. Okay, so so that's more or less config done. So close that up, and the next one I'm going to do is move down to the core modules. Okay, I'm just going to put them side by side again. All right, cool. Okay, just close these up. All right, so now we're going to go down to modules. So so modules, we're going to go to core, and we'll start with the client. So we'll go to the controller, and we want to change up the home client controller. And over here, just go to public, modules, core, controllers, home client controller. And you see that in this one, we'd scoped out all of our alerts. So we're just going to grab the scope of alerts, copy that, and plug that in over here. Cool. The next one is the CSS. So I'm just going to open up the core CSS and just grab body down the bottom just to give us a bit of background color, and just add that down the bottom over here. And then the next thing we need to do is just have a look at the views. So if you open up the home client view to begin with, what we want to do is grab all of that and go down to views. We've got our home client view. So pretty much everything here can go, and I'm just going to paste that over the top. And for some reason I have two headers in here, so I probably don't need both those. I'm just going to get rid of one. So delete that. Okay, cool. So in the header, I don't need to do too much, but what I'm just going to change is the nav brand. So if I just have a look at the header here, so I'm just going to change it to app makers, which is what I had before. It's up to you if you want to change that or not. And that's it for our core file. So I hope I haven't lost you so far. So far what we've done is we've gone through config and we've updated the environment so that we've moved across our configuration items. So we're actually now pointing to MongoDB for all of our environments. And then the second thing we did is we just jumped down to modules, down to the core module, and we've just gone ahead and started to plug in some of the changes that we made to the core module in the previous version. Now the next thing I want to do is have a look at the server, the server files for the core module. So I'm just going to jump down to server, and I'm just going to have a look at the views for server. So what I want to do is just go to the layout server view, and this is really where the layout for the app is kind of defined. And I'll just jump down to this area down here where it says navbar fixed top, and it's got inverse. So what I want to do is change that from inverse, which is a black header, and change that to kind of a lighter colored. So I'll change that to default up there. And that's all I want to do to that view. And you can see that if you go to app, views and layout in the previous version, that's what we had over there as well. All right, so next thing that we're going to do is move across and have a look at the users files, and we'll start again. So I'll just close everything up again and just close all of these. So we're back to sort of a clean layout so that it's not too confusing. Cool, so just going to close core. This time we're going to go to users. So in users, we're going to start off with the CSS file. So we'll go to client CSS. So this is the CSS files that we've got in the new version of Mean. And I'll just go back over here, go to users, go to CSS, and you can see here that we've got our login form background. So I'm just going to grab that and plug that into here. So next thing we're going to do is look at sign in, sign up form. So just jump down to authentication. We'll start with sign in. So that's our sign in form there. I'm just going to jump down to views. Same thing, go to authentication and go to sign in here. So there's pretty much everything we've got here is similar to the concepts here. The difference is, and the thing that I'm going to sort of change up a little bit, is you see that in the previous version of Mean, our references were done using href. So they were sort of your normal style for referencing links. In the newer version of Mean, we're actually references here, so we're actually using the Angular routes that are defined in our users client reference. So these state references here are the types of references that we use when we're using these data UI strips. So what we can do is, I'm just going to copy everything across, but I'm going to do it slightly differently. So copy everything across just at the top here to make sure that your controller references are the same in case you've changed anything there. And we're just going to just change these things here. So this forgot password is now going to change, oops, to this thing here. So we're changing that to data UI sref, and the sign up is here. So copy that and plug that in over there as well. Everything else is more or less the same. There's nothing that stands out to me there. So I'm just going to get rid of the rest of that. Cool. Now just do the same with the sign up form. So copy the sign up form, jump across to sign up, and I'll just again just plug it in at the top. And just copy across sign in. Oops. To that there. And I don't think there's any other references on the bottom here. Doesn't look like it, so that should do. So even if you didn't do that, it would be fine. There wasn't really anything drastically different that we've changed over there. So that's that. So that does our client-side user module, and then what I'm going to do is leave it there for this video. I'm going to create a part 2 video where I'm going to move across our customer-related modules, just so this video doesn't get too long for us. Thanks for joining me. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out bossable.com for more details, and I'll have the follow-up video to this up very, very soon.